Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Runday. I'm Brett from Run Queensland, and today I'm joined by Ben and Jane Cann, and they also work at the QCCC. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Thanks, Brett. It's fun.
Yeah. So Ben and Jane competed in the Blackall 100. They completed the 50K last year together, and I noticed they've also done Biwa at night together. And they started the Blackall 100 together on a couple of weeks ago. And Jane, I believe, had a few troubles with GI problems and whatnot, which we'll hear about. And Ben completed the 100K, his first 100K in 20 hours and 58 minutes. So welcome, guys.
Thank
Judy.
you.
Thanks, mate.
It's good to be here.
So we thought we might, I thought we might firstly share about the QCCC and how we've been there with you guys for 7 years. And maybe we want to talk a little bit about what you guys do there. I know you do a lot of stuff. So do you want to just have a quick chat about what you guys do at the QCCC and what it looks like for the QCCC with regards to the event?
Yeah, it's just huge for us, Brett. It's been really exciting to see Run Queensland bring the Blackall to Mapleton over the last few years and just see it grow. QCCC is actually, its bread and butter is school camping. So normally all of our crew, they're tied up with school kids from grades 3 right up to grade 12, you know, every school day of the year, essentially. It's a very popular campsite for the schools. So pretty busy normally. And then weekends are usually a bit of a breather for everyone. But the run now for Blackall, it's something everyone does look forward to because of the atmosphere, the energy it brings, and really that's what has just sucked us all in. The whole staff just they're on a high the whole weekend, even though they're working 24/7 basically, similar to your mob.
Yeah.
But it's just been wonderful to see the run grow over 7 years, and it's great to see it just powering.
Well, we've worked with you on the executive, and I know Jane works in there, and I know that Jane works in the kitchen. And one of the things that we got asked was, do you think Jane's going to be? Oh, we've got the phone going. Do you think Jane will be able to work on the Monday? So she'll be able to answer that for us because she works, I know, in the kitchen. I'm not sure about any other stuff. What does that lead up look like for you guys? Because a lot of people might be aware now that a lot of that checkpoint food is we're preparing with you guys to take out onto the event. So are you in there prior to that as well, helping with that? And on the Friday and Saturday, the amount of food that must get prepared is unbelievable. Can you talk a little bit about that, Jane?
Yeah, no, it's good fun. It's certainly a really big buzz in the kitchen leading up to it. There's a lot of preparation, and obviously Brendan, the head chef, does just such a fantastic job with talking to Dave, the other chef, and Caleb, and just the crew. They just all really try to do the best they can to make it flow really well. Last year was full on, it was busy, so they tried to change it to make it more of a community sort of feel where people can come and go and get their food quickly. So there is a lot of talking, a lot of planning, a lot of back and forth, trying to work out the best strategy to make sure that everyone gets fed.
Yeah.
But it's good fun. It's great. It's interesting being in the mix of it all. I'm over the kitchen at 2 days a week. I'm a teacher, but I love the 2 days that I do over there because it's completely different to any other job that I do. And it's super fun. It was interesting. They kind of talk, and then you say, one of the talks was, why potatoes? Seriously, why would runners want potatoes? Like, do we really need potatoes? And I just say, oh my gosh, you've got to have potatoes. Everyone needs potatoes,
Yeah, smashing heaps of salt on them.
Yeah, that's right. It was interesting to sort of put my 2 cents worth, and they're sort of saying, it's all the talk, like, why would a runner, even want to eat in the checkpoints? And, so it's fun. It's a good buzz leading up to it, and try to be prepared.
She gets straight back into work, by the way.
She said she went to work on Monday. I wasn't surprised. Yeah. I seen her on well, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing the math, that you came across the line.
Yeah.
And Jane was there. And I think I
Yep.
said something to you that may have been offensive to Jane. I'm not sure. So if it was, I've got to apologise. I haven't seen her since the event, so I thought, I wonder if I need to apologise to her. But anyway, she's still smiling at me, so that's fine.
No, it's good fun.
You want to talk a little bit about how you guys got into the event? Because I know we've been there, 5 years prior to that, and there was all this talk, and all of a sudden you guys end up doing the 50K, and that was in about just over 8.5 hours last year. And then it's gone from that to the 100K. So what sort of inspired you guys to do it?
Well, we'd got into running only a couple of years earlier. Well, that's me more to the point, because I've never been a runner. More than 3 years ago, I've never run in my life. So we did originally get into park run, and that sorted out my back. I'd had a herniated disc about a decade ago, and then that was a big recovery from that. So running actually strengthened my body to get physical again, and that was a real lease on life for me. But more to the point, Jane actually, 2018, had a bit of a cursed year with 2 herniated discs in her neck, and she was pretty much laid out all year. So to get out for the 50 last year, it was monumental on her part. So it's really been a chance for us to get our health back, I suppose, get into running, and it's been a bridge for us in that way.
Yeah.
We do a lot of trekking. Like, we love trekking with our 4 kids. Yeah. And then it kind of just hit us that we could do this and cover more ground without having to carry 20 kilos on our back. So that was pretty exciting. And then we just made it was more of it was time out for Ben and I. It was our date days, our date times, our couple retreats. Like, it was fun. We'd go out, and the children were always so supportive, and they, sometimes we'd come back from a 40K run and dinner was started, and how many K did you do, Dad and Mum? And so they were really behind us and really excited about it. And so I think their enthusiasm and excitement made us excited.
So your dates don't consist of movies or anything like that now. It's all out in the bush running around.
Yeah, that's right. We stop for a kiss every so often. It's pretty cool.
So
yeah, it's an effective way to get away from it all, So
it's such a beautiful way to relax, isn't it? And just enjoy nothing more than just this bush and silence and feet running along, and that meditative sort of state you can get into with it. One of the things I was just sort of, with the herniated disc that you were suffering from, Jane, were you warned not to do any of this sort of stuff? Because I'm interested. I know that when I was about 40, which was quite a while ago now, I was told, because I had a knee problem, you're too old, stop running. And if I had I wouldn't have done like all these different 100-mile races and stuff like that. Now, that was from a doctor, probably looked at me and thought, oh, what a lunatic with all these Ks. Were you warned against any of that sort of stuff?
Well, yeah, I had to go. I was really close to having to have the surgery to get the 2 discs replaced. And it was either go do rehab and CrossFit and try and get fitter and get through it, or have the surgery. And I think it was quite close when, not last year, the year before, when I was sitting there at QCCC watching all these people running in, thinking, that does it. Like, I just want to get out there and just get fit and do the best I can. And it's the environment, like everyone says, it's the environment, it's the morale, it's the atmosphere. It's just so contagious and so addictive. And so I think that's when I sat there and went, oh, you know what, let's try and do this. But I was there seeing surgeons and talking a bit about it. But I remember one of the last surgeons I saw, I said, I'm actually training for the 50K, for a 50K run. And he just looked at me and he just said, oh, well, then you must be feeling okay. Like he sort of just, you're off, off you go. So he was pretty cool. He was positive. I think he said your body will tell you what you can do and what you can't do in that regard. So he was really positive. We had one doctor say, well, as long as you're not running, that's not good for it. And I thought, oh, I'm doing a lot of running. But, you know, I think your body tells you what it can do. And, you know, my neck was always something that I thought would stop me for this run, but my neck is felt stronger. So it hasn't really caused me any grief lately. So it's good.
Yeah, cool.
Before
we just get to the... Sorry?
I don't like being told I can't do something. So, you know.
For me, it's like red rag to a bull when I hear that. I mean, I had long hair down to me bum because my mum said, you look better with short hair. So when I was younger, I was a rebel. I was just, before we get to this year's 100K, I was going to just say one of the things about the QCCC that we were so welcome there when we came with this idea 7 years ago. And probably we've never been able to sort of share this, but to be welcomed in so easily, and the amount of phone calls I make there and Gavin makes there, and we're sorting through stuff, it's just such a joy. And now half the staff are looking, I mean, Mitchell might see this. He told me that he's going to probably do the 50K next year. And I said, I'll hold you to that. So I seen him on the Monday morning and he told me that. So there you go. Yeah. Hopefully you'll see this and he's in. But you guys are just amazing. And that space there for the runners is such a great place to be. And, you know, as a starting hub. And that kind of happened because of Andrew Powell, actually. He recommended to go there when we were looking at doing an event on the Great Walk. So it's funny how it all just snowballed. And now we've got this really big thing and it's cool. Anyway, let's get to your 100K. Let's get to your 100K because it was a really interesting day. I know that, Ben, you led in with some knee pain from ITB tightness and stuff like that. So maybe we should talk about your one first and maybe we can incorporate Jane into that because, I mean, if you want to get into that, I mean, the nitty-gritty of it, Ben shared a little bit with me the other day and I thought it's interesting to see how that sort of played out for you guys because I know you're having all sorts of problems, especially Jane, with your stomach and stuff and how that might look, which will be funny because my last question to you guys will be an interesting one for you, Jane, because it's, we'll see how we go. So let's share about your run.
Mine's nice and short and sweet, so we'll get it over and done with. I'd been training like I'd never run before. So I was doing quite a lot of marathons each week, which I'd never run like that in my life. And I think looking back on it, I've overrun a bit. And we just went out for a short 3K stroll one Sunday morning, and I couldn't even make the 3K because of the pain in the knee. It's a new feeling. So I hobbled home. I think this random lady gave me a lift home. I did tell Jane all about that, so she knew what was going on. But then, it was a bit of a struggle for me. It was about 3 weeks out from the race. I was 4 weeks out from the race. I was planning on finishing my last week of training on a high and crack a heap of Ks beforehand and then start tapering, but it really forced me to. I had 3 weeks there before the run where I didn't even put the shoes on, and so I was really freaking out. I think I've got a couple of photos there that shows the fear in me on Saturday morning. It's hilarious, but I was really happy. I got to 35 Ks before I even felt it, but it's really because of the what got me through was the community. I wanted to make sure anyone out there listening is this amazing community of runners, because I turned up on race day in the morning and one of my mates who was running in the race as well introduced me to a friend of his. Big shout out to Kendall. Oh, amazing woman. She was there in a pink tutu as a support crew for 12 other runners, and she just took me in, sat me down, strapped up my knee for an ITB. I'd never knew you could strap for an ITB at all, and and it was right as rain. So I got through to 35k reasonably well, no trouble at all. But that's where I started heading downhill. The challenge in the mind and all of that. That's where I'd heard so much about it. It started for me at about 35, 40k, and just kept going downhill from there. But really was just that community of runners, everyone on the track, just the encouragement and the great vibe from everyone, all your volunteers, all of the club. I mean, I don't know how many volunteers you've got. How many have you got that volunteer for the race every year?
I think it's well over 100 now, mate. And I was just thinking when you just said I started going downhill at 35k's, well, that was going downhill just before you went uphill as well.
Yeah, so it was the problem for the ITB for sure. That was where it was testing it. But that's my message to anyone who's even thinking about running an ultra, and just get into it for the community of people. You just meet these amazing people who are just so giving and generous and fun to be around, just lively people. And that's my takeaway of the 100 really, is just the generosity of the people all day. You just come across them again and again and again, the runners, the volunteers, all your crew, Brett. But not only that, like QCCC team, they were putting in a lot of hours that I know we didn't pay them for, but we won't talk about that. I hope they're not watching, but they do put in a lot of hours as well. And poor old Breno, the head chef, I don't think he got much sleep that whole weekend either. He just wanted to make sure everything went well, and it's what people give to the event that really got us as far as we did.
Yeah. And I seen you cross the line at 3 a.m. Actually, I think I might have been sitting on the mic and doing a bit of hip hop at that point. But the relief on your face was unreal. And it was almost like this disbelief that you'd just done 100 kilometres. And it's funny, 100 kilometres doesn't seem long when you look at it in the bush and these kind of different parts of the track. But when you start to lay it out on the ground in a straight line and you say, I just ran to Brisbane kind of thing, and through it probably be pretty close to Brisbane, I'd say, probably a little bit through. It's amazing in a straight line how far you can run. And then you throw in a few hills just for good measure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Jane can tell her story.
Oh yeah, look, I was amazing what I heard and how it started, and when it started.
I think a lot of people had issues. I felt quite strong actually. I felt really excited, and that first point to go into Condalilla, I felt strong. But coming down Baxter, all of a sudden I thought, oh no, I should have used the bathroom at Flaxton, which wasn't good news. So, you know, that runner's worst nightmare, trying to find bathrooms along the way. Yeah. That just went out the window for me. I didn't care as long as I found a bush. So I just didn't keep any food in, and poor Ben was stuck on the track explaining to runners coming past, oh no, keep on going, don't worry, off you go. So that's probably where I started feeling it. But I didn't feel, I thought, oh, that's just the start. But then probably coming into checkpoint 3, I just couldn't keep any liquid down. I couldn't keep anything down. I thought, that's okay, I've got tailwind, I'll try tailwind. But like I learned, I'd only trained with tailwind once, so it just wasn't working. Tailwind wasn't working either. So, for me, it was just this slog of have a bit of liquid and then it would come up, and then electrolytes, I just try electrolytes and try and drink some of that and going up the bluff. But, you know, I've heard a lot of stories of a lot of vomiting happening and all sorts. So it was... that was a hard slog going from checkpoint 3 to 4, and obviously the elevation was hard and the heat, but it was, my body felt strong in the sense my legs and feeling like I had the energy, but as in my body, but I just, like, you go all lightheaded, you see little stars, and then I thought I'll just try and drink some water, and that didn't stay down. So I don't know, I think I just didn't work for me with being able to have the energy that you need to keep on going. So,
did you find the heat was a problem? Were you finding the heat a problem?
Yeah, I think the heat was hard. We were coming up that bluff at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That, I think, combination, you know, for me, if I look back on it, the night before I only got a few hours sleep because of nerves and probably overthinking it. And then, you know, you got the heat and then the excitement. But I think it either goes well with food or not. I've always struggled with nutrition. But, you know, when you go for a training run, you go out for, you know, a 40K run, you come back feeling pretty ordinary, but you come home and then you start eventually eating. But so when it went past that 40K mark and I wasn't giving my body anything, I try and have like something, and then it didn't last. But so I don't know what went wrong. And I'm sure that, I mean, we're so beginners, both of us are such beginners. But from checkpoint, I thought I'll just get to 65 and then I'll see how I'm going. But that was a big slog. Coming into 65, it was just going on dark. We were stuffed. I was ready to finish there. I just felt like I had nothing. I'd already nearly fainted before, and I thought, I just got to come into 65. And they're like shuffling through, you know, where's your support crew? And I just went, we don't really have support crew. And I mean, that's a big lesson we learnt. We thought we could support each other, but we couldn't support each other. We thought we'd be able to, you know, we're okay, we're doing this together, but we've learnt you can't. I've got nothing to give Ben by that stage. Ben's got nothing to give to me. He was starving. And I just, he just goes, I'm not getting anything to eat, because he couldn't get up off the ground. So anyway, so we thought by 65, I thought, that's it, I've done my hit. But we promised each other we wouldn't give up at a checkpoint. I mean, we've heard it. People tell you, don't give up at a checkpoint. So
I just heard your voice in our ears there, Brett. We made sure we never gave up at a checkpoint like you advised us to.
Yeah. So that's, you know, it was so tempting, because we came in, we went through to this little darky little log, and we sat right next to the shuttle bus at checkpoint.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And just turned to me and said, you know, we could just jump on that shuttle bus and head home to bed. And I said, that sounds so good. But then again, our adoptive, you know, support crew saw us there, and they just came over, and their first aid kits out and everything. Here's a tablet for your sickness. Here's this, here's that. So for somehow you keep on going. And so I thought I'll just keep on going a bit there. But by the time I got to about 70K, I couldn't keep anything else down. I took off my vest and I took off everything and laid on the ground and went, okay, this is me stopping. I said I wouldn't give up at a checkpoint, but this is me done. So of course I had to then get through to the 5K to get up to checkpoint 5.
Yeah.
And I finished up there at checkpoint 5 at 75. But, you know, I think that's, we always knew, we trained together, we run together, but in the end we knew it was going to become an individual race, but one of us couldn't keep going. And Ben just had these few little things he was saying. I just said, that's it, you go. So I stopped my Strava, gave him my watch because his watch was dead.
Yeah.
And just said, going, just go, let's go. So I became his support crew, which was nice. And yeah, that was our journey then. We just kept on going then. And I just went round to checkpoint 4 and said, I'll see you at checkpoint 4. So it was cool. It was so fun to see Ben running off. It was a real relief. It's actually quite an emotional journey. You don't realise how emotional it is, because you're doing it always together. And, you know, in the end, you see your husband, running off ready to finish off. And,
especially when you invest a lot of time, I think it becomes so meaningful, because a lot of people say, oh, well, why do you do it? Why do you run so far? And for me, it's kind of like this. I mean, to be able to run, you were running, so you're basically telling me that you were running about 50 kilometres, throwing up, well, basically both ends by the sounds of it. So, welcome to running. Yum, yum. Welcome to running. It's yummy. I just think it's that kind. When I heard that story, I thought, wow, that is a long time to be trying to do that. Like, not being able to process anything, basically. It's just, I was like gobsmacked. I'm like, far out, that is huge, you know. And I always feel that if you're going to go to a checkpoint, it is easy to drop at those checkpoints because you just get so comfortable. But I think there's a point where you've got to kind of call it and say, you know, the day's done, it's not going to happen. And it happened for so many people there on the weekend. It was really interesting. It'd be interesting to see a lot more people's story about what happened and why that happened. It's so, but yeah, and it was funny, yeah, watching Ben finally, you know, finish through all of that, like after he's battled for so long all day. So it was unreal. I was really happy with it. So to see you guys do that. But you looked pretty good at the finish though, Jane. Like you didn't look unwell when I seen you at the finish. You looked okay.
The funny thing is, we had a mate that just lived near Cooloolabum Dam, and he actually got to checkpoint 5, and he said, I'll take you back. And I said, I just want to go to checkpoint 4. And he goes, well, no, you can't come to checkpoint 4. How long it's going to be? I said, Ben will probably be a few more hours. I just want to go to checkpoint 4. I was a bit out of it. And then he said, no, you need to come back to my house. And I said, where's your house? And he goes, here. And he goes, I live near Cooloolabum Dam. And I said, well, where's Cooloolabum Dam? And I'm like, ooh. And he's like looking at me thinking, you just running around Cooloolabum Dam.
Yeah.
You know, we live here.
You're actually in Cooloolabum Dam.
Yeah,
you're at the dam.
Oh, yeah.
You can jump in the water.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I went back and kind of recovered there for an hour and had a shower.
Ah, that makes sense.
Drink, and then they brought me to see another guy. Not one of our mates come in on the 100. He made it through the 18 hours, and then I went out to checkpoint 4 then to see Ben. So yeah, no, I think as soon as you stop, you feel better. I think you're not ongoing. So it's such a mind game. You have to be. There's so many little things that can make you stop, and there's so many little things that can make you keep on going.
Oh,
and
sure.
It's definitely very new at this trail running thing. And you know, I think about the 50. You know, I thought, it's just double that. It's just double that hardness. But I do think it's different. It's definitely not just a double the hardness. It's just a different. It is a different degree of hardness doing.
Yeah, it sure is.
I don't know. I'm so new at the whole thing, but I mean, it's whether you're doing 21, 50, 100. It's everyone's journey. They just do such a beautiful job at their journey and their own determination. And I'm just admire everyone who gets out and does it, gives it a go. It's a highlight. Better than 21 because everyone's journey is different. So.
Oh, it's special for us. We get to watch, you know, near 850 people with their moment, you know, whether it be, you know, it's amazing. So, you know, and some days it just doesn't work for people, and other days have cracking, you know, they have a cracking day. So, yeah. But look, from our guys here at Run Queensland to you guys there, we're just so grateful that, you know, we're a part of your world there, and we've got this wonderful event. So, I was going to just say, to finish up, I don't know if you know the last question. This is for you, Jane. Well, you can answer this one, Jane, and then other than toilet paper, what can't you do without on the trail?
Wipes.
What was it?
Wipes. I ran out of toilet paper. I needed to go onto the wipes.
What about you, Ben? Anything special?
Oh, look, if I'm running solo, I've learned I've got to have something in my ears. If it's not music, if it's not Jane's voice in my ears keeping me going, the only thing that got me through, I think, in the end, when I had no one else talking to me, was music in the ears. I think I left Jane and I had a playlist 6 hours long. And it took me 5 hours to get from CP5 right back home to the finish line. So it was just about run out. I may not have made it otherwise.
That's so good. That's so good. What a wonderful story, though. Like, I'm really, really glad you've been able to come on and share with us and, you know, give a bit of insight, because, you know, for people that are non-runners to have come out and done all those things, it's pretty cool. So, you know, that's unbelievable. So I'm really grateful that you could come and spend your Sunday with us and have a bit of a run and tell your story. So thanks very much. And are we training for next year?
I thought you already asked the last question.
Oh, well,
sorry. We'll finish on that.
No, we're coming back.
I was scared to ask Ben. I said, Ben, I'm going to ask you a question. And I said, would you do this again with me next year? And he just goes, yes, 150%. Yep, I'll be there.
Fantastic.
Well, but we've just signed up for beer at daybreak with all the kids. Actually, all 4 are doing it with us. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the way that's going, that's going to sell out too. It's like got loads in it, so
Yeah.
pretty
No,
exciting.
Fun.
Should be fun. We'll bring the circus.
Yeah, no worries. All right, we'll bring the chocolates. Okay, well, thanks
Cheers,
very
mate.
much for spending the arvo with me.
No
Thanks for having
worries.
us.
See you
Okay.
later.
See ya.
Cheers.